Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Break Thru U podcast. I'm super excited to be joined by our other host, Ashley Gaylor, and our special guest, Megan Ferrell. We are going to have a great time this morning. And what we do here on the Break Thru U podcast is we focus and talk about breaking through mindset. 90% of what the challenge is in the mind. If we can ever align the mind, the body will follow. That's what we believe here. And I'm super excited to have Megan Ferrell, CEO and founder of Unstoppable Woman and 615 VIP. Megan is head of sales and marketing for Bell Law Settlement, director of Become a Tennessean, and volunteers on a multiple different levels and multiple different organizations, and also Become a Tennessean and volunteers in the other Feast Music Festival team. Hope I got that right, Megan.
Other Fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Megan is involved in so many things, and we are super excited that she has taken time to come by and be a part of the Break Thru U podcast. And so without any further ado, Ashley, you want to say anything before we introduce Megan?
I just thank you for being here. We're excited to connect with you and hear about what you got going on. You got so much going on, and the kids and the sports, and doing it. This is what it's all about. People out here getting it done. We're excited to meet you and hear about what you're doing and how you guys are helping the community. It's fascinating.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am so blessed to be able to be here and be a part of it and to share a little bit of our mission and what we're trying to do. So thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to.
So Megan, hopping in here, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell our audience, those are going to be watching, those that will be listening. Who is Megan Ferrell? Because you are definitely what I would call a center of influence.
Oh, thank you. Well, There's a lot. I wear a lot of hats. I love hats, but I truly wear a lot of hats in my life.
What's the hat you got on now?
It's actually music festival starting up, right? So in the honor of some of the music festivals coming, this is a spicy pie hat. They're one of the largest, one of the bigger popular vendors at Bonnaroo. They are amazing pie. But last year when Bonnaroo canceled, we brought them in for the other fest because there's a lot of vendors that were displaced, and the other fest came about because Bonnaroo canceled. We put that festival together in like 3 to 4 days, and we brought them in as a vendor. And I was like, I got to try the famous spicy pie, and I did, and it was really good. So I support them. I try to support local small businesses.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But going back, to everything, I am a mom of 4 kids. I'm a single mom of 4, and I stay super, super busy. I'm from Middle Tennessee. I born and raised, moved off for a little bit and moved back, and really just kind of found my vision of what we're going to talk about today as unstoppable I've always kind of known I was supposed to do something. I think me and you, Josh, talked about this before. Like I know that we were supposed to, God had a bigger plan for me that I was supposed to do, but I just didn't really have the clear vision of where it was. So I became a single mom with my oldest when he was 9 months old. And I was trying to go back to work, and I needed government assistance just for daycare. And I went in to try to get assistance for daycare, and they're like, "Ma'am, you make $100 too much. I'm sorry, you can't get it." And I'm like, man, if I'm facing this, there's a lot of other women that are and men that are facing this as well. Our system is so broken. Like the ones that really need the help sometimes couldn't get it. So that was the first time the first thought came into my head to do something bigger, but I was so young. I was in my 20s. I really didn't understand the process or the influence that you can have to speak up with your voice or to actually step in yourself and do something to help. So that was the first thought was in my mind. Well, fast forward 3 kids later, I have my 4th child, Cohen, and he is he's autistic, and he was having to go to 4 therapies a week, couldn't work a full-time job, had to leave corporate world. And I was like, okay, I've always felt like I had an entrepreneur spirit, but I really didn't know what that was because I was in a small town. It was encouraged to get a safe job, and there's nothing wrong with these jobs, but a safe job in my town was to work from 9 to 5 somewhere, electric company, phone company, somewhere where you're going to be guaranteed hours. Don't take risks, do that. But I always was different. I always thought outside the box, and I didn't really understand how to channel that until I got into the room with some big time people, some big time thinkers. And they really opened my eyes to be like, man, I'm really not different. I just am called to do a different thing than these other people. So I started kind of challenging myself. I had to be creative. I was a stay-at-home mom of 4 children, and I couldn't go back to the corporate world to work a 9-to-5 job because I had a child in therapy for 4 days a week. So I started becoming an entrepreneur, and I started the thing called 615 VIP, where I would promote businesses for free, especially during COVID, because there was a lot of people that couldn't open their stores then. And that was more of a philanthropy work that I was doing. But then I also started an event planning and kind of a consulting with these other businesses, where I would go and meet with them and kind of help them make money during a time where they couldn't make money. Because I've always had a very I've always had a big marketing mind. I didn't go to college for it, but during that time, I studied, I read, watched any YouTube video I could of marketing, and I just really developed a passion for it, and I became really, really good at it. So in that time of that season of kind of being still and just being mom and making sure my kid is being medically treated right, and stuff, I found entrepreneurship, and I started doing the events. But by doing that, I was given a job, and I worked for a life coach for a little bit. And that was a very hard job because I worked for my family a lot, but I learned a lot, and I met a lot of people, learned how to network, really took skills that I kind of had and sharpened them, and became really a lot more knowledgeable in it, put it that way. So during that time, I always had this background of wanting to do something for women. I thought it was youth, and then it kind of was to help these single moms. Well, about a year ago, before I left the job that I was telling you about, to work where I'm at now at Bell, because it's more family centered now. I can be more with my family, how to do that for the children. I really just woke up one day and just had a vision, like, this is it. Like, it was kind of gray before, like I've told you. And then one day I just woke up and said, oh my gosh, this is the direction that I'm supposed to do. This is what my path is. This is what my destiny is with this. Like, this is what I'm going to do. So it was so clear. It was almost like God was like, I'm prepping you. Boom, you're ready. Go. So that is exactly what I've done. And I've hit the ground running. And the people that I have came in contact with, such as you guys and other people in nonprofits and other people that want to help nonprofits, it's been nothing short of amazing. Like the connections and network that we have just been brought into. And I went from wanting to help single mothers, which I still do, my heart and soul is behind that, to also realizing there's a lot of broken women out there. And they're just looking for a seat at a table of women that are going to support them and encourage them, that may have come from a small town like I have and don't have that encouragement to do their dreams, to chase their dreams. And we've just kind of provided a platform, if from not only helping the single mom, because eventually we want to have so much that we can go up to a single mom and be like, hey, here's $100 for your water bill. Here's $500 for your house payment this month. To be also be able to help women believe in themselves again. And it just goes on and on and on. But that's the gist of it.
So,
I know I kind of rambled, but there you go.
No. That's so important, because one of my questions that I had for you, Megan, was how did your passion begin for nonprofit work, and then the creation of Unstoppable Woman? And I see that the passion that has brought you to get into the nonprofit arena is personal experiences. And like, everybody has to have a why. Mm-hmm. And your why, you have a why you get up every morning and grind and hustle and like you said, sharpen that skill set every day. Mm-hmm. And it's so important for women to have that support, that they know where to go and how those organizations can really support them. And so, which brings me to my question, and Ashley, hop in whenever you want, is what is Unstoppable Woman? How did you create, how did that begin?
It just basically began with kind of what I was saying before. Like, I knew that I was supposed to help these women. And yeah, we had a podcast, and we wanted to do a podcast for so long where we interview people telling their inspiring stories. We didn't know if it would reach 5 people or 10 people. We didn't know. We were just going to do it. So we just started somewhere one morning, and I knew I wanted to call it Unstoppable. It was that's a story that it was just on my heart. I just kind of woke up and kind of knew that's what it was going to be one day. And so then when we started doing that and reaching the audience is we wanted to be able to have a platform for men as well. So that's the Unstoppable piece where we can bring men and women on to talk. But the Unstoppable Women was something that I'm
glad you didn't leave us out.
Exactly. There's you have a story too, right? But so we wanted to keep it where we can have men and women. So we kept the Unstoppable part of it. And that's the podcast is called Unstoppable.
That is amazing.
And then Unstoppable Women was something that we just channeled for the women. And one thing that, and I may be getting ahead of your question, if I am, you can stop me. But one of the things that we realized when we started reaching out and helping these women was a lot of women had what I call daddy issues, where their father wasn't present when they were younger. They wasn't present at an age where the women were supposed to, when women are supposed to see how men are supposed to treat them, right? Their fathers are supposed to show them, like, you let a man talk to you this way, you let a man date you, let a man do this. Chivalry isn't dead in my world. But, you know, my father had a horrific accident when I was 16 years old. And I was like, I didn't have that. Like, he was there, but he was trying to remember his name when I was 16 years old, right? He had a severe brain injury. He wasn't able to show me how a little girl was supposed to be treated. Now, I was his little girl. I knew he loved me, but I didn't have that that character there to play that role. And I realized, because I had to do a self-examination of myself, like, why do I keep having these failed relationships? Why do I keep going down this path? And it wasn't that I was a bad person. It wasn't that I was doing bad things. I just was seeking something in my life that was my very first example of what I thought love was. And that's what was happening to these women. So
let me ask you this. So what do you think these women that have what you would call like these daddy issues, like, I know it could stem from different things. And so, you know, I look at my daughters, and then I think first of all, like, we're not, when we have a child, we bring a child into the world, like, we're not, an instruction manual doesn't come along with it. And I think that's why it's so important, especially as a father, that fathers play such an important role. And there is no substitute for a father in a family, in a just in the upbringing of a child. And so where are some of the biggest areas that you're seeing working with women that may cause them to have daddy issues per se? Like,
right. Well, I believe I'm a researcher and I research everything. So I had to find out my stem of I wouldn't say problem. I'm not, because everybody has things that they can improve on, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I had to sit there and be like, what is it for me? Because if I can figure this out, and I'm not the only one, and I can help other women come through this, you feel broken. I felt broken. I was like, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep making stupid decisions when it comes to relationships and things like that in my life? And because everybody wants a happy family, they want the white picket fence, but it's not like that for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So I started kind of really digging in myself, and so then I started talking to other women and asking them, like, they would have similar stories, like they would be in like a verbal abusive relationship, or even worse, than some of the things that I have went through in my life. And I would be like, what is going on with these girls? So I've sat there and just listen. The first thing I would suggest anybody to do is listen to the problem, find the problem by listening. And these women would just tell me, they're like, well, I was, my dad wasn't in the picture. My parents were going through a divorce. I didn't see my father a lot. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm linking all this back. It goes back to dad not being there. And then their first relationship was a very toxic relationship. That's what they thought their first love was. So everything that they would do, they would mimic and gravitate toward their first example of what they thought love was. And it's not in all situations, but majority of the women that I'm coaching right now and speaking with have that same bond and issue. And I've worked with FCA groups before, and it's the same way. The father was not present or was just absent in the picture a lot. And then their first example of true love that they think is true love is that. And they don't.
So let me ask you this too. So do you believe, and I hear it all the time, that women oftentimes get into a relationship or marry someone similar to their father?
I do believe that in some sense. I think that you're either going to try to do the opposite if it's a bad relationship, but your roots are your roots. I mean, you can sit there and say it, but what you see what you know. That's when they say you are who you hang around. It's the truth. Can you change cycles? Can you chain break things? Absolutely. But you have to recognize the cycles. You have to recognize the things that you don't want to do anymore, that you don't want to carry over to your children. And it is so important that these women are taught that. And that's where we come in, where we are providing a safe place for them to talk, to vent, because a lot of people haven't even shared their story because they feel judged. This is a non-judgment zone, because I can sit there and spill my guts. When I go in to speak to women or speak to men, anybody, I always start off with, we have a basement where we put things that we don't want anybody to see. We have a house where we put all our nice stuff. I'm going to let you into my basement today. I'm going to show you some things that I don't want to get rid of, because it's part of me. It's who I am, that made me who I am, but I don't keep it up here in this part of the house for everybody to see. And when I do that, I develop a trust with these ladies. They're like, oh, wait a minute, she's been through it too, but she's kind of got her life together now. So let me listen to her. You kind of have that credibility where they know you're not going to judge them, but they can be very raw and truthful with you. And that's when the truth comes out, and they see that they've allowed themselves to be mistreated. And this is not even women, this is men too, but the ones that I'm helping right now happen to be the women and my platform, because of my life experiences. And I'll talk to them and they're like, oh my goodness, I shouldn't allow that to happen, or I shouldn't allow this to happen. And it's almost like a veil is being torn down, and I can really get in there and speak life into them and plant some seeds of self-respect that they've never had before. And that switch flips, and it's like, next thing I know, that they're doing big things. They're helping other women. So that's my goal, is to plant that seed. And I may not ever see it harvest, but if I plant that seed and they're going to helping other people, I mean, that's what it's about, right? Changing
Definitely.
and helping somebody else along the way after you have a life transformation. But I mean, there's a lot of people that want to do big things. I think we talked about this before, Josh. They want to do big things in life. They just don't know how to do them. They've never been encouraged. They never had anybody to believe in them. So all they have is that voice in their head and all those other people that have put negative stuff in their head. But if you can come around and you can pull somebody out of that, that's where you start having those chains broken. That's where those generational curses start being broken. I'm a firm believer in that. And I don't Bible hit anybody on the head. I don't push my religion on anybody. I always tell people my faith is something that's very important to me. So it is going to come up when you talk to me. That's just who I am, but I will never force it on you. And I don't even call what I'm doing a ministry, because I never want to turn somebody away that doesn't believe. I want to help as many people as I can. And that's what we're called to do. We're called to love people and show love to them and share our story. And if it means to me talking about things that I've overcame, that I've been judged on, that I felt terrible about myself, and it's my story helps deliver somebody else or help somebody else, I'm going to do it. I don't care anymore. I'm unapologetically me, but by me doing that, the doors that have opened have been tremendous and amazing.
That is awesome. I know you were talking about networking and all the different organizations that you're involved with. And so my question is, a lot of times when you have a business or you're in a nonprofit, you have a nonprofit organization, leading an organization like that, it's hard for you to do things on your own. It's hard for you to, it's so important. Like, networking is so important, Megan, to connect with others, because I know with Break Thru Nashville, like last night we were connecting with people, and throughout the week we connect with people, and it's so important, because we don't have all the resources, we don't have everything that we need to help these people. But if we consistently network and get other organizations involved and bought in with our mission and our vision, then other organizations are more apt to help with services, help with different needs that arise. And so with your experience, I mean, the expertise that you have in marketing and networking, how important is that for somebody to tell somebody, hey, you're not an island unto yourself. Like, if you try to be an island unto yourself, you're going to fail. You got to have people around you. You've got to network. You've got to bring people in to help you with your vision and your goal.
Yeah, that is so important. You can never meet enough people. And every time I meet somebody, I always bring up Unstoppable Women. It's some part of the conversation, not to pour it down people's throat, if the time's right, if you feel like with Break Thru Nashville, you guys, if you feel led to talk to somebody about it, that's when you do it. And you know the people that you're supposed to talk to in your tribe. You know people that have been brought to you to meet. You feel it in your gut. You know it. You recognize it. And like-minded people gravitate toward each other. I mean, that's how we found each other, because we were in a business opening launch party, and somebody's like, hey, you need to go talk to him because you guys are a lot alike. And it's amazing how that comes together. But you wouldn't know that. People wouldn't know to connect you with people if they didn't know your message. So that's why it's very important that you talk about your passion and you talk about what you're doing, not to be like, oh, look at me, look at what we're doing, because you want to be able to help more people. And I know all three of us on here are the same way. We have a heart to serve. And by us giving our testimony or giving what we believe in, that's getting the word out to people. And somebody else may say, hey, this group right here at Break Thru Nashville can help you, or you're looking to help sponsor some people. I want to put you through Break Thru Nashville, Unstoppable Women. And it's just amazing. Like this event that I have coming up. I mean, Josh, you helped me connect me with the Amelia's Closet lady, like I have all these clothes and I'm like, well, crap, what if we don't have women show up to get it? Like I have all this stuff and I have this great idea of wanting to help people. I've promoted it as much as I can, but right now, everything that I do, and this is not tooting my own horn, it's just the truth, is coming out of my own pocket. And until I get those investors, or however you want to call it, sponsors, to help do things for these women, I'm very limited to my resources, which is why networking is so important, because us as nonprofits, that's our lifeline. It's for other people to come in and help, because the more money we have is to help more people. And the more people that we know, we can help more people to another level.
Who says you don't need more money?
I was going to say it. We know somebody. I was going to say it, but I was like, no, he'll get after me for copyright. And I'm just kidding.
You need more.
You need more people. You need more people.
I know exactly who says that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Coach Burt.
Yep.
Give him props. Give him credit here.
Yeah.
So that is so true. It's so true. And I think, Ashley, you can speak on this, is that I think you're one conversation away. You're one conversation away from striking it rich, in the fact that you're one conversation away from the resource being there to help your cause, your mission. And Ashley, you're the master networker as well. I mean, you're always connecting.
Yeah, just like she said, you can never meet enough people, and that's the truth. It's doing what we do as entrepreneurs, as working folks, and with our nonprofits, trying to help people. Just like she was talking about, you know when the time's right, but you don't want people to feel like you're trying to push what you do down. Just like, this is what I do. Let me help you. You know what I mean? Just like with my business, I sell life insurance, right? And me having a conversation with someone about what I do is me trying to help solve a problem, right? Like, I know that you need me, right? Like, I know that you need what I do, but I need to come across to be able to tell you about what I do without you think I'm trying to push it down your throat, right? So, and then that's just connecting with people. But our nonprofit has been incredible as far as being able to connect with people through the nonprofit, and it's never, I always make one thing clear: it's never been about business for me. It's been about helping people. Now, have I met people through doing what we do and it's turned into business? Absolutely, because they had a problem, right? And I was able to help them with that problem. So me getting that word out to as many people as I can is one of the things I'm very passionate about, right? Because I'm trying to protect families. At the end of the day, that is my life mission, right? Yeah. So, and I do that through my business, but I also do that through Break Thru Nashville, feeding, clothing, grilling hot dogs. Name it, whatever we can do. And then meeting like-minded folks like you that woke up with an idea. It's like, hey, and this goes back to what we were just talking about before. We'll quote him again. Your past helps their future, right? So same way with me. My past helps my clients' future, so stories, things that's happened to us, and how we can help other people overcome or avoid that. So, but networking is the number one key to all that, is meeting as many folks as you can, just to shake hands or do a Zoom call and saying, hey, I feel you, I see what you're doing. And, we want to know you, so.
Right. Yeah.
So Megan, really quick, so tell us about this event happening, Unstoppable Woman. Like what is going to be happening at the event, and how can people get involved? I know my wife is very excited about it. Introduced her to it. It's going to be an amazing event. So how can people get involved, and then what's going to be happening at this event? What's the date? What's the time?
Yeah, love events. I want to hear all about this. Love events.
So our first event, when we first said, okay, we're going to do it, we're going to wake up and we're going to do it. We're going to shoot for 2 big events this year. And one of those is going to be what we're going to have in June 2nd. It's going to be Dress for Success Day. And that's going to be at Vitality Realty. Jennifer and Diana have been so kind to let us use their office that day, kind of take over their real estate office in the middle of their busy season. And we're going to have everything from nice casual business clothes to very nice business outfits for these women to come in and pick out a complete outfit, walk out the door with it ready for an interview. But not only that, we're also going to help women set up emails. There's a lot of women that don't even know how to set up their email account. And right now they have to have that. I mean, it's just the day we live in. They don't know how to do their resumes, because an online resume can put them in front of so many more people than going in and filling those paper applications and stuff. We're going to help them with their interview skills. Anything that they want, we're going to pour into them that day that we can provide and give. We're going to try to do our best or find the resources to get them there. And that is just something that was on my heart. How can I reach people in Middle Tennessee very quickly without it costing a lot of out-of-pocket expenses for everybody? And that was it, because I went into my closet yesterday and I bet I found 40 pieces that I hadn't wore that are very nice pieces I got out. They're gently used. This is what we're asking for. And there's some friends of mine that are like, hey, I just cleaned out my closet. I've got a lot of business attire stuff. I'm like, don't donate it yet. Give it to us.
Hey, don't mean to interrupt you. Hold on. I could probably supply you all with like a half a tractor trailer load if I clean my wife's closet out.
Yeah. I don't know. We can find somebody that needs it. Yeah.
I'm talking about stuff that's still got tags on it that she bought and put it on. Well, I don't like this.
Same here. I'm like, same here.
Yes, I'm telling you, us women, we do it. Yeah. We do it.
So you're having a drive trying to collect those things right now for this event?
Right, because it's June 2nd, it's next week. So it's coming up on us very quickly. But another thing that I'm needing people's help with is getting the word out to make sure women come. Because it's not just for people that are low income. This is for any type of income. If you just you can have not just low income, but any woman. There could be women that just need help. Maybe they need to have someone look at their resume to say, hey, this is my resume, but how can I make it better? Or how can I learn? And so I think it's just overall just a amazing time for anybody to come in and meet with experts to help them make sure that they're on point. Yes. And even I'm encouraging women that have like a business model or a business plan that they've thought about for a long time and they just don't know how to get it started. And, they just need some encouragement. Come to that day. We will look at it with you. I will help you with the marketing. If I can't get to you that day, I'll get with you at lunch and we'll go over strategies and how to launch this for you. We really just want to pour into you. And that's what I want to break that stigma. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because I was that woman. I went and nobody knew that I went to go ask for that daycare assistance because I thought I would be looked bad upon by people. Right. And I shouldn't.
So is this going to be, this is the Unstoppable Woman
This
date,
is the Unstoppable Women's side that we're doing. So it's June 2nd, but I just want them to feel very welcome and not judged. We're not going to be filming. We will film before, like us setting up, but it's going to be completely private. Nobody's going to know who's in through that door, because that's something I'm very passionate about, is making sure that everybody there feels very safe and they don't feel like they're going to be blasted on social media, because it's not about that. It's about helping them, not putting them on social media like, look who all we're helping. So they need to come in. They'll be loved on. Nobody even know they're there unless they want to tell people they're there. And we want to help them, get ahead in this workforce, because it is, there's jobs everywhere. But a lot of people don't even know where to look, and they don't know the right fit for them. And we want to help them be able to do that day. So it's June 2nd from 1 to 4 at Vitality Realty in Murfreesboro. 2 things that we need people to do. One, we're still taking donations up to a certain point. You can drop them off that morning before at 10, because we need to have time to sort by sizes. And then the second thing is just to tell people about it, because we need people there. If we're going to be doing this, we want people to show up and be blessed by it, not just sitting there with all those clothes, So,
and the event's in Murfreesboro, right?
The event's in Murfreesboro. So we need ladies to come and get this stuff, because it's going to be there for you. So come get it. And what we have left over, I'm working with Amelia's Closet, so we can just push all that stuff to them so they can use it for their nonprofit as well afterwards.
Awesome. I'm gonna reach out to the Hispanic community. Definitely. And I think it'd be awesome do you know Veronica with Nashville Noticias?
I don't think so.
Veronica is a center of influence here in Middle Tennessee. Well, basically the world.
She has a news program she broadcasts.
Wow, yeah, there's about over 200,000 followers. She has an hour on Univision. I'd love for her to highlight, even if she could maybe even come and highlight live, to get a lot of women to come. So I'll work on that as well, because Veronica she's incredible. She is incredible in Nashville Noticias. So I'll do that as well.
Hey, can I? Are you at the downtown office? Is that where you work out of with Belle?
Yeah, well, I do on Wednesdays. I'm there, and then I have an office in Murfreesboro, and then the rest of my time I'm doing one-on-ones with clients. Sometimes I'm in Nashville, so yeah. But we have people that are dropping off. And Belle has opened up their doors for drop-offs as well.
Okay, so that's
off this week.
That's what I was thinking. Because I'll definitely get with my wife today and see what she wants to, what I can take, and I'll definitely take some stuff over there, because she's a businesswoman herself, so she's got a lot of business attire that she no longer uses. So we might as well pass it along, to somebody that could really benefit from it.
Yeah, well, we would love to take it off her hands for sure.
Yeah,
so one other question: how can people get in contact with you, Megan?
Okay, well, as of now, I'm still giving people my cell phone number. Oh, Lord, it hasn't backfired yet. So you can message me on social media too under Megan Ferrell, or we also have a Facebook under Unstoppable, called Unstoppable Podcast Series. We have a YouTube channel as well. We're on all the platforms of Apple Music and all that stuff. Kind of swirling for a minute there. Had to throw that out there though. And then we have, if you want to contact me personally, again, Megan Ferrell on Facebook, or you can email me at letsbeunstoppable@gmail.com, or my cell phone number is 615-580-5745. Just make sure you text me, because if I don't know the number, I usually want to answer it because of spam. So just text me first and then I'll call you.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Megan, for joining us today on the Break Thru U podcast. We are super excited to be able to speak, and like you said, to share stories and to share incredible things that incredible people are having such an impact in the community, not just in Nashville, but in Middle Tennessee and oftentimes across the state. And so thank you for all the work that you're doing. On behalf of the Break Thru U podcast, we want to thank you, and we are here for you. We're definitely going to be giving you support, and we appreciate the support that you're giving us and working together to help women, help families, help children, help men, helping everybody. There's a need. Let's not be divided. Let's come together and let's get it done. And so thank you so much for coming today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you, and we're going to do what we can do to help support you in your cause. And we look forward to networking together and getting some stuff done.
Awesome. Thanks.